Okay, so in my understanding, I sort of know what the whole tale of King Arthur is about, or at least I'd like to tell myself. So, because I found it so incredibly interesting, I definitely feel the need to share it with you guys. In case you don't understand it yourself, maybe I can shed some light. So, essentially, the death of Arthur starts off with the birth of Arthur and like a whole bunch of middle stuff and a lot of people's names and essentially things I can't pronounce. But I'm getting there. So here's what happens. So there's this king of England, and he's a cool dude, and he falls in love with this woman who is married to a servant, and that's fine. But like he wants to sleep with her, so he has this friend who is a magician, very, very conveniently, and it's just like, I'll disguise you to make you look like this woman's husband. So he sleeps with her, and they conceive a child. And this child is Arthur. But then the king's just like, oh, that sucks. I'm going to try and fix that. And the best way he could find to fix it was to hide Arthur away and just keep him, like, out of sight. And just be like, you stay over there. I did a bad thing, but I'm going to do this to you. So essentially, as the story progresses, the king dies. And then Arthur's like, I'm going to come out of hiding because this is getting really boring. And he's like walking one day, and I'm assuming he was like walking one day in the woods by himself. And he comes across this stone, and he decides, oh my god, this would be a good idea. Let me go over to the stone that has a sword in it. Let me go touch it. Because that's what I do when I'm in the woods, being weird. And he like pulls this sword out of this stone, and the sword like there's like this description on the sword, like a terms and condition, like, congratulations, you pulled this sword out of this stone. You're the king of England. Also, you get to keep this cool sword. So that's what happens. So it's like one of those, you have to do it regardless if you want to or if you don't want to. There's obviously a reason why you pulled the sword out of this stone that was just conveniently in the forest that I'm assuming he was in, just chilling there. So then, the king, who is actually already like the actual king of England, he's like, that's not fair. I'm the king of England. But then he ends up like conveniently dying. So then Arthur is now the king of England. And to make it like official that he's the king of England, he finds this like mate, this woman, Guinevere, and she's like, oh, I casually have this table that can seat like 250 people, 150 people, and 100 knights. It's just like laying around in my old home. Let me bring it. Like, so there's this table that could fit a bunch of people, and that's where the Knights of the Round Table thing came from. So then there's that, and then like the story like changes from Arthur and like focuses on like three knights, and I'm gonna spare you their stories because it's just a lot more names that I don't understand. And then it goes back to like all of a sudden Arthur just wants to find this holy grail, like the thing that Jesus drank from at the Last Supper, and like everybody wants to see it, and like they're dreaming about looking at the holy grail, but only like three of them can because they're actually like chaste and pure. So only they can see it, and like now they're like obsessed with finding this really cool cup thing. And then this dude like Lancelot or whatever comes in, and he's like the best knight in the world, and he like freed some of Arthur's knights that were like kidnapped or whatever. And like he's cool. Like from what I was reading, he seemed like a really chill person. But then like he like starts falling in love with Arthur's Guinevere wife with the table, who she brought the table, and then it like gets all weird with them, and like Arthur finds out, and he's like, whoa, that is not cool. And then like half the knights of the Round Table are like broken up, like because they're like on Lancelot's side and then they're on Arthur's side, and then like it gets really confusing, and then they battle, and then Arthur wins, but then like some dude is just like, hey, hasn't been around. I'm gonna act like I'm the king of England, and like forges letters that like Arthur's dead. And then Arthur and this guy who was forging letters get in a fight, and they both die. And then Guinevere's like, "Oh, this is my fault." So then Lancelot and Guinevere are just like, "We're really bad people. We probably should go be monks and nuns and just act like this never happened." So essentially, that's how Arthur died, although people are just like, did he really die, or is he just in hiding? But he died, and then Lancelot buries Guinevere next to Arthur. And that's the story, or the best of what I could understand in an hour, of the tale of King Arthur, and the Holy Grail, and the Round Table, and all of that stuff. So yeah.